Are you looking to win your fantasy football leagues? Well, you're in the right spot. Welcome to the channel. The channel which will help you win lots and lots of cash in any fantasy football format. Today, the first video of the channel, you can say you were here for it. We're going over my top 50. Now, if you're not in the Discord, highly recommend joining that link in the description because we already have a bunch of people in there, first off. And number two, a lot of great free advice, trade advice, team advice, and my draft guide. It ain't behind the paywall. I got the top 450 guys ranked, and there's a lot of big boys that the ADP is sleeping on. We're starting things off with my top 50. This is PPR format. 6-point, 4-point touchdown. Doesn't really matter to me. And we got the rushing upside, of course. So we're going top 50 in a redraft format. We're going to have dynasty rankings if you guys want to see it. We're going to have rookie rankings if you guys want to see it. Ask any questions in the Discord or in the comments. Name number one, Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase is the ADP favorite to be number one in a redraft league. And the reason being, man, he had a 2.44 yards per route run last season. His target share was 27.8% for his team. So, I mean, regardless of the T. Higgins, signing back his contract, yes, in an ideal world, maybe T. Higgins leaves. But it's probably not that big of a deal because it actually might make the Bengals offense better. With T. Higgins now on that team, for the long-term future, they are going to have more opportunities in the red zone. And Ja'Marr Chase, he's just a monster, man. He's probably one of the best players in the NFL right now. He was out there for every snap, of course, 93% snap rate in 2024. Ja'Marr Chase, no surprise, number one. Number two is Mr. Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, he averaged a very astounding 5.8 yards per attempt in 2024. So that's not too shabby. There's definitely some other people that could be potentially your favorite to be number two overall in a redraft league. ESPN has Bijan Robinson, Jefferson, Jahmyr Gibbs, all ahead of Barkley in redraft. I just don't see it. This guy was the number one fantasy back in 2024, averaging 22.2 points per game. It was his best fantasy season since 2018. 2018, he averaged 24.1 fantasy points per game. But, you can't really sleep on Saquon Barkley. You know what you're getting. As long as he's healthy, you're going to be getting a lot of points. Now, will he have touchdown regression? Potentially, but I do think that, it's a safe bet to go with Saquon number two. Number three is Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, you do have J.J. McCarthy, which I think kind of is a knock. Now, he has shown that he is quarterback proof. Number three overall, I'm still definitely high on him. I still think he's going to be having a good season. 2.57 yards per route run last year. Actually, that was his lowest number for yards per route run since ever. 2020 is 2.65, 2.75, 2.79, 2.85 in 2023. Down a little bit last year with Sam Darnold as his quarterback. He actually had a bit of a down year in terms of almost most of his stats. Besides his snap percentage, he played 96% of snaps in 2024, and he averaged 18.68 fantasy points per game. And the two previous years, he was above 20. So a little bit of a down year, but he still was the number 4 wide receiver overall. So we can expect similar things, hopefully, as long as J.J. McCarthy is a decent quarterback. I like Jefferson at number 3. Number 4, I do have Bijan Robinson. I'm not going to sleep on him any further. Bijan Robinson had a very good end to last year. At the beginning of last year, he was kind of ass, but at the end, this guy showed why he was the lead. He's an RB3 last year. Got his average up to 20.1 fantasy points per game in PPR. What is there not to say? 4.8 yards per attempt. Clear RB1 in the new look Falcons offense with Penix there, headlining the NFC South. Looking at the next guy on my list, we have number 5. We have Jahmyr Gibbs. I feel like I'm a bit higher on Jahmyr Gibbs this year than a lot of other people. CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua. I don't know who else people might have ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs. I like Jahmyr Gibbs a decent bit. I know Montgomery's there. Montgomery is going to be a pest, but Montgomery was a pest last year. And Jahmyr Gibbs averaged 21.35 PPR points per game. This guy had an 8 yard per target was his receiving amount. So he was averaging 30 yards per game, 5.6 yards per attempt. So that's a very, dual threat back. He's got to be there as my number 5. Number 6, we do have CeeDee Lamb. Now, CeeDee Lamb, people might sleep on CeeDee Lamb this year because guess what? Last year might not have been the best. He still averaged 17.5 PPR points in 2024. He averaged almost 24, though, in 2022. What was the difference? Well, Cooper Rush was his quarterback, guys. Dak Prescott, he's back. And I'm not saying Dak is OP, but I'm saying with Pickens there, another season of Ferguson as the number 1 tight end, The running back room might be low-key trashed. I mean, they didn't really invest heavily. They have Javonte. They have Jadon Blue. I'm kind of a big fan of Jadon Blue as a sleeper, and Javonte too. But CeeDee Lamb, he's going to get a large share of the targets. He had a 27.3% target share last year, even without Dak, and he had a 30% target share in 2023. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to be just fine. I like him as my number 6. Puka Nacua will come in at number 7. Puka Nacua I do have at number 7, guys, but I do want to kind of be cautious here. You're very excited about the ceiling you get with Puka Nacua. I'm a little bit concerned about the floor. So in 2024, Puka Nacua averaged 18.78 PPR points per game. In 2023, he averaged 17.56 in his amazing rookie season. In 2024, though, he played 11 games. 11. Injury concerns are a thing. I think this guy might be made of, what's something fragile, man? Like glass? I was going to say rubber, but rubber's pretty good, so... Puka Nacua has some pretty weak legs, I'm not going to lie. So I do think Puka Nacua is a bit scary here. I don't think Devontae Adams is going to hurt him. I think it actually might help that Rams offense, but Stafford is one of the best QBs in the league in my eyes in terms of real-life play. So Puka Nacua will be just fine. I like him ranked right there. Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's looking pretty good. You know, they bring in Isaac Tesla. I know it's not how you pronounce his name, man, but I'm not pronouncing it Tesla. His pronunciation he wants is so weird. Can't be bothered. 89% snap share in 2024. His targets, 27.3% target share. A little bit down from his previous 2 seasons, but I mean, 27% is still going to be pretty solid. His yards per route run was also kind of down at 2.4. Played 17 games. He played all the games. That's the thing about Amon-Ra, right? So you have him ranked here because of the consistency. So in the last 3 years, he averaged 16.7 PPR points per game in 2022, 21 in 2023, and even last year he averaged 18.6. Now, last year he did have a lot of touchdowns, and he was kind of touchdown dependent a lot of those weeks, which kind of boosted his floor. If we have touchdown regression, Amon-Ra could fall down boards, but we also could see the opposite effect where he loses some of the touchdowns, but he kind of gets back to having more receptions per game where we're used to seeing. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how the Lions play. Depending on the difficulty of the Lions' schedule, we could be seeing a higher target share or a higher passing rate to get Amon-Ra St. Brown the football. Ashton Jeanty comes in at number 9. Jeanty at number 9, I feel like he's been a faller this year, especially in redraft. You know, we're gonna potentially be doing some best ball stats, but Ashton Jeanty, we know what we're getting. We're getting the clear Raiders RB1. If you were thinking about Sincere McCormick, or I don't even know who the other bum was, they had some bums running the football last year in Las Vegas. Now that we have Jeanty, a real running back, we could see this Raiders offense, you know, actually completely funnel through Ashton Jeanty and Brock Bowers. They have Jack Besh, which, well, you know, he's not going to be top 50, but they have Jacoby Myers. They have Geno Smith. Their offense should be improved, and Jeanty should be a big reason. I think Genty's going to have a big target share in terms of receptions, and just his workload is going to be large. So I like Jeanty at the number 9. Number 10 is Malik Neighbors. Now, I think you could potentially have Malik Neighbors a bit higher than number 10 because Russell Wilson's in there, so you're going to have some pretty decent quarterback play compared to what we've had in the past with Neighbors. Rookie season, 18.2 fantasy points per game. You might think he was kind of fragile. He did still play 15 games, which is pretty solid here. 18 fantasy points per game, don't mind that. Yards per route run was 2.2, which is pretty solid. And considering he had the worst quarterback play of all time, I do think Neighbors can take a step forward in a year 2 right here, coming off of a very good year 1. So Neighbors could low-key be a league winner. Looking at number 11, we have Devon Achane. I think I'm a bit higher on Achane. Some other people looking at where ESPN has Devon Achane. I mean, they have him at number 12, so I guess pretty even right here. But taking a look, Devon Achane in 2024, 17 games played. He averaged 17.6 PPR points per game. 2023 was 17.3. Now, the key factor is that he still averaged 17.6 without Tua Tagovailoa. The target numbers, he was getting a lot more receptions, I feel like, a lot more dump-offs, because they had, I don't even know who they have, Skylar Thompson, like they had bums at quarterback. So when Tua Tagovailoa is healthy, Devon Achane can be viewed as a true RB1. And looking at the running backs ahead of him, we have Jeanty, we have Saquon, we have Gibbs, Bijan. I do think all those guys should be higher than him. But I mean, I have him pretty high up. I think I have him as the RB5. So I mean, Achane definitely should be viewed as a good option. Number 12, we do have CMC, and I was kind of tossing, the idea of ranking CMC higher. If McCaffrey is higher, then if McCaffrey is healthy, he should be probably, number 2, number 3 overall in ranking. The problem is, if we look at his career, 2017 to 2019, he played every game, all 16. 2020, 3 games. 2021, 7 games. 22, 17, 23, 16. 2024, 4 games. I mean, they were telling us that, yeah, he'll be back. His attendance fine. It's healing good. They're lying. They're scamming us. I still don't know if his tendonitis is fixed or not, and neither do you. So I mean, again, a lot of people took McCaffrey last year already knowing about his injury, and they got scammed, and they took him like pretty much number 1 overall. So I'm a little scared about McCaffrey this year, even in round 1. It's kind of a boom or bust talent. If you're going for the highest ceiling, he can win you your league. But also keep in mind you can lose. So and also now that they brought in Jordan James. So I mean, who do you draft as the backup? Garendo, Mason, the new rookie? It's hard to even guess who the handcuff back is. So McCaffrey at 12 seems safe, but I don't know, man. It could be a league winner. It could be a league loser. Nico Collins is my number 13. Now, Nico Collins also had a very, very good year in 2024, even with CJ Stroud kind of having a bit of a down year. Nico Collins had 17.55 PPR points per game, and he only played 12 games. So he was, I think, how many yards did he have? This guy had to have a lot of yards in 2024, considering, let's see. So yeah, looking at his games that he did play in 2024, we had 117, 135, 86, 151, 119. He had like 4 or 5 games over 100 yards. He's a good red zone threat for that Texans offense. And if he stays healthy, I think Nico Collins could be up there as one of the best receivers in fantasy football. Number 14 is Brian Thomas Jr. Bit hesitant about Brian Thomas Jr., right? So we obviously have this guy coming in to year 2. Year 2 wide receivers are, I'm so excited about this year 2 wide receiver. Problem is, Travis Hunter could have a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson rookie season type ceiling. He could. Or he could be playing defense by halfway through the season. So I don't know. I mean, looking at the Jaguars number 3, they have Diami Brown, 1 year, $10 million deal. BTJ had a yards per route run of 2.55, which is very good. He was the wide receiver 12 in fantasy with 16.7 PPR points per game. Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars offense, I mean, they weren't great last year. So if Brian Thomas Jr. can replicate his success and maybe even expand his role in the offense, he had a 25.5% target share. Does that come down? You might think that, but they also got rid of Christian Kirk. They got rid of Everett Ingram. So, Brennan Strange, I don't think he's going to be eating into that target share. So I still think BTJ is a safe pick right here at my 14th overall. A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, I mean, this guy was reading his books on the sideline. This guy was unhappy. Okay. He averaged 16.68 PPR points per game. I mean, since 2020, 17.2 points per game. 2021, a little bit down, 13.9. And then 22, 23, and 24, pretty much all 17 PPR points per game. And, in 2024, he did have some injuries. He played 13 games, but the 2 years prior, he was at 17 games per. The good news here is in 2024, his target share was 34.4%. The Eagles' offense passing attack went through him. I still think he can have more touchdowns in 2025. And the Eagles' schedule might be the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Yes, they play the Giants twice. Besides that, ain't no Mickey Mouse clubhouse for the Eagles. They might have to actually pass the ball a little bit higher in 2025 because their schedule is more difficult. So I like A.J. Brown at number 15. Brock Bowers at number 16, and Brock Bowers seems a little bit low right here, but, he's the number 1 tight end. Think about when Kelsey was going a couple years ago, kind of where Brock Bowers deserves to go. Brock Bowers had an 86% snap rate. He had 15.5 points per game as a tight end in his rookie season. Played all games, 2.3 yards per route run. With Gardner Minshew as his quarterback, kind of unreal. So I think Bowers should be the tight end 1, and I don't really think there might be one guy that's kind of close to deserving to go in this range, and he's probably a couple ADP away from where I have him ranked. But really, besides Bowers and that other tight end, you're having a big positional advantage if you go ahead and take Brock Bowers here. Up next at number 17 is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry looks pretty solid. Derrick Henry was a league winner last year. He played all 17 games in 2024, all 17 in 2023, 16 in 2022. The durability concerns, I mean, this guy's old. He's very old, but he's still playing a lot of those games. Now, the problem is in PPR, the target numbers, he's not going to much, no receptions. 1 reception per game is what he averaged in 2024. It's not great, not good at all. But he did average 113 yards per game, and he averaged 0.9 touchdowns per game as well. Now, the snap share, he was only on the field for 58% of snaps, which isn't amazing. From 2019 to 2022, he was closer to 70%. 2023, he was down to 54. In 2024, he was down to up a little bit up from that, but 58%, still not great. But he averaged 19.8 points per game, and he's a main workhorse running back for a good team in the Ravens. So Derrick Henry at number 17 feels all right. Jonathan Taylor had a sneaky good year on a not so good, very bad Colts team. Jonathan Taylor we have coming in right here, and Jonathan Taylor in 2024 averaged 17.6 PPR points per game, his second best number since 2021. And yes, he only played 14 games in 2024. Yes, the Colts brought in Jonathan Giddens. I saw some things about Jonathan Taylor kind of being in a career year where the Colts could save money. If the Colts are going total rebuild, they could cut JT after this year. So I think JT is going to be a little bit extra motivated. Yes, Anthony Richardson could steal some rushing touchdowns. Yes, Daniel Jones could steal some rushing work. I think JT is going to be just fine. And the good news here is we do have a bit more of a receiving role potential from JT. DJ Giddens isn't really a true receiving back, so he's not going to eat into that role. Josh Jacobs comes in at number 19. Josh Jacobs was another league winner for you guys in 2024. Looking at his 2024 season, he had 17.2 PPR points per game. He was very involved in the receiving game. He had about 2.5 targets per game, 2.1 receptions per game. And this dude averaged, it was the same touchdown number as Derrick Henry. 0.9 rushing touchdowns per game. Those are very good numbers. I mean, do we see touchdown regression? Who's really there to stop him in this Packers offense? I mean, who's going to be the guy scoring more of the touchdowns? Maybe Matthew Golden gets some more deep scores. I don't really know. I think Josh Jacobs, he had a 63% snap rate too, which is lower from his 77% snap rate the previous 2 seasons. So I think Josh Jacobs could actually expand his role and continue to keep expanding in that Packers offense. Number 20 is Drake London. Looking at where Drake London comes in right here, Michael Penix, brand new offense. 16.5 PPR points per game in 2024, a breakout, because his first 2 seasons he was at 10 points. He was ass. Now, looking at his actual season, towards the end of the year, how was he doing? Let's take a look. His final 2 games, week 17, week 18, 106 yards, 187 yards. That's not a typo. He had 2 touchdowns as well. So he had a 37% target share, 30% target share, and 49% target share to wrap up the final 3 weeks of the NFL season. You could say there's momentum. You could say that. His yards per route was up to 2.5 as well. So Drake London could be a good pick as well here. Coming in at number 21, we have Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving, if he can expand his receiving role, Bucky Irving will be just fine in that Tampa Bay offense. I don't expect Rachaad White to kind of reclaim his role. I feel like that would be kind of weird if that happened. Now at number 22, we do have the other tight end that I was talking about, Trey McBride. Bowers, he hasn't beat. But if we do see some touchdown improvement from Trey McBride, he could kind of rival him. He had 15.6 PPR points per game in 2024. A breakout year for sure for McBride. He had 71.6 yards per game, 2.42 yards per route run, and a 29% target share. Now, does Marvin Harrison Jr. eat into that? Potentially, but Trey McBride was the tight end 2 for a reason, and I'm happy taking him right here at number 22. Number 23 is Kyren Williams. People are a little bit worried about Jarquez Hunter, and you should be. Jarquez Hunter, he's a good sleeper option. We'll talk about sleepers, in the future here. But Kyren Williams, 17.0 PPR games, PPR points per game in 2024, a little bit down from 2023. 2023, he was the RB2, and he had 21 points per game, but he was the RB10 in 2024. 0.9 rushing touchdowns per game. And that's kind of the good news here. The good news is he's very involved in the receiving game, a lot of checkdowns. The other good news is Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, touchdown levels. So I do think you can't devalue him just because they go ahead and take Jarquez Hunter. So I have him ranked at 23 still. 24, I'm a little bit higher on this guy than ESPN. We have Tyreek Hill. Now, Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa is back. He's healthy. Can you rely on him to be healthy? I don't know. Tua had a 12.8 points per game in PPR. Tua is old. He had a washed-up looking season in 2024, but that was without Tua. ESPN has Tua ranked at number 31. If you go ahead and grab him at number 24, I like it. He could be a league winner. He could have, when Tua was healthy in 2023, Tua had 23.5 PPR points per game, and he had 0.8 receiving touchdowns per game. In 2024, he had 0.4 receiving touchdowns per game. So you can see the difference right there. And his yards per route run was down from 4 to 1.9. So Tua being healthy is a main difference right here. And they also get the backup in Quinn Ewers, which you're not excited about that, but I mean, it's better than nothing. Now, number 25, we have Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I feel like, I don't know. I put him ahead of Lamar. I know it's a bit, do you put him ahead of Lamar? Obviously, you have Lamar and Allen are kind of their own tier. We'll be talking about Lamar here soon. But Josh Allen was the QB2 in 2024. They bring in Josh Palmer, a bit more of a deep downfield threat. And the Bills' offense, the Bills' offense is good. And what you have with Josh Allen is you have 0.7 rushing touchdowns per game, 31 rushing yards per game in 2024, 8 yards per attempt passing the football. So, Josh Allen had a very good year in 2024, and I expect that to only keep continuing. It's kind of wild. He might have some down weeks, but his up weeks, they're going to be big ones because of the rushing upside right there with Josh Allen. Now, we don't have Lamar Jackson right next to him. We have Chase Brown coming in at number 26. Chase Brown, the Bengals bring in, people thought that the Bengals might go after a big name running back. The only guy they bring in was Taj Brooks. Not necessarily the greatest competition. Chase Brown was given the workhorse role. 4.3 yards per attempt. Looking at his touchdown numbers, his touchdown numbers were 0.4 touchdowns per game rushing the football. So the receiving role, 3.4 receptions per game, 4.1 targets per game, 6 yards per target, 11.2% target share as a running back. So he's involved in the passing game, and the Bengals offense is going to have a lot of points scored. They're one of the best offenses in the league. The defense being trash might actually help out Chase Brown in his passing role in a PPR format. Number 27 is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was the QB1 in 2024. You have the rushing upside. You have the passing upside. This guy was doing it both in 2024, and I expect that to only keep the same moving forward. We have James Cook coming in next at number 28. I'm pretty high on James Cook. I think James Cook could be somebody that continues his dominance from the 2024 season. He was a bit of a breakout. Looking at his season, he had RB11 was his number. He was 16.7 PPR points per game, his top for his career. He averaged 1 rushing touchdown per game, and he had an 8% target share as well out of the backfield. Who's the competition? You got Ray Davis, you got Ty Johnson. They're both a little bit pesty, I'm not going to lie. Like, they are kind of annoying. They're like gnats. But I do think James Cook has definitely a safe outlook for 2024. Number 29, we have T. Higgins. T. Higgins gets the contract, gets the money. As long as this guy stays healthy, as long as Burrow stays healthy, you expect big things. Now, the last 2 years, he's only played 12 games each year, which isn't great. But he did average 18.5 PPR points per game in 2024, a career high. He was the wide receiver 6 in the games he was playing. 79% snap share, which was his career high. 0.8 touchdowns per game. He was more involved in the red zone. So, T. Higgins, good outlook for sure as well. Now, you're taking a wide receiver 2 right here, guaranteed wide receiver 2, and there's still wide receiver 1 on the board, so that's a little bit annoying, but I still think, you can't really beat it. Now we have Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts going back-to-back. I have Jaden Daniels ahead of Jalen Hurts. You really, if you're going to take Hurts over him, that's fine. You're one of the touchdowns, the rushing touchdowns for sure with Hurts and the tush push. That's okay. I think Hurts could have a big year as well. A tougher schedule, so they will be airing the ball out more. He could have more passing touchdowns alongside the rushing upside. Jaden Daniels going into year 2, people are saying he could have a bit of a regression. It kind of scares me. I have him ahead of Hurts. I think Daniels improves, and he has the floor, right? Daniels has more of a floor than Hurts because Hurts, he'll have the rushing touchdowns, but Daniels will have the rushing yards. So I have Jaden Daniels just ahead of him at 30 and 31. Now we have another quarterback at number 32. We have Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's healthy. T. Higgins is healthy. And, we got Jamar Chase, the best receiver in fantasy football. I think Joe Burrow's going to be just fine. At number 32, I don't mind. Number 33, we have Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. JSN is now the wide receiver 1 in his offense, but he does have Cooper Kupp there, and he does have Scam Darnold. Now, 24% target share in 2024, and that was with DK Metcalf. That was with Tyler Lockett. Cooper Kupp ain't necessarily the best competition, and the Seahawks don't really have a wide receiver 3. He played 87% of snaps, which is very good. His yards per route run was only 1.83, though. Hopefully we see that number improve coming up here in the next season, but I do have him at number 33. Number 34 is Ladd McConkey. Number 35 is Marvin Harrison Jr. Lam McConkey should still retain a good role, especially in PPR. He's a kind of a reception machine. They did bring in Trey Harris, but he'll be more of a stretch the field, down the field threat. So McConkey is safe at 34. 35, I have Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. was one of the best prospects of all time, receiving prospects, in terms of his prospect score. 79% target, 79% snap share in 2024. I wish it was targets. 22% target share. The first half of the season, I swear, Kyler Murray didn't know he existed. Like, they weren't necessarily the best chemistry. 1.68 yards per route run definitely was a disappointing season here from MHJ. 11.5 PPR points per game. He played all 17, and he's only going to get better. This is a guy where this guy could have a Jamar Chase potential. It's just if Kyler Murray gets his head out of his ass and starts passing the football. He's got the talents there. He had a bit of a concerning stretch at the beginning of the season. I think MSJ could be a league winner at ADP 35 right here where I have him. Breece Hall is number 36. Breece Hall, people are saying Breece Hall is a potential trade target for the Jets. I'm a bit higher on Breece Hall than others. Now, Justin Fields, how is he going to be controlling this offense? You don't really know. But in 2024, Breece Hall averaged 15 PPR points per game in that trash team. In 2023, it was 17. In 2022, it was 16 points per game. He had 6 yards per target in 2024, and he had 3.6 receptions per game. So the receiving work is kind of where you're excited about the floor here in PPR. Braylon Allen ain't necessarily the best backup, so there's not really much competition there for the RB2 job in New York. Rashee Rice at 37. Rashee Rice has a very good outlook. Before his injury, Rashee Rice, all the games that Rashee Rice has played with Mahomes, he's averaging like 15, 16, 17 points per game. And the good news here is people are saying his trial might not even be started this year. They're saying his trial is probably going to be pushed back to 2026. So Rashee Rice at 37 could be a league winner as well, as long as he progresses from that injury. 38, I do have Travis Hunter. With Travis Hunter, we're getting a guy where this guy could be playing defense. He could be getting 40% offensive snap rate by midseason. So that's concerning. It could lose your league. At pick 38, though, you are only investing, third-round draft capital, which you can still recover. He also could have a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson rookie season type potential. So that's why I have him at 38, ahead of number 39, Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin, he finally has a quarterback. We know the talent's there. He's been doing it with bad quarterbacks. He finally has Jaden Daniels. I expect McLaurin to have a big year. Number 40, we have DJ Moore. DJ Moore, we got to pump the brakes a little bit. DJ Moore, he's been consistent. He's been good. Caleb Williams there. Honestly, Caleb Williams, I think, is overvalued, overhyped. But Caleb Williams has the best cast of all time now with all his receiving threats, all his tight end threats. So the problem is, DJ Moore, what's his target share going to be? You got so many guys on the offense. I still have him number 40. Number 41, we have Mike Evans. Baker Mayfield. We're not going to see my Baker Mayfield ranking here. You guys can make sure you go check out the draft guide, which will be in the Discord for free. You'll see Baker Mayfield is pretty high. So Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield can support a wide receiver 1 in fantasy. Number 42 is Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams had a very good year. Showed he can be healthy. Showed he can still do it now. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers, but Matt Stafford, he's going to have a field day having Devontae Adams as a big body red zone target. Number 43 is Mr. Mixon. Mr. Mixon had a bit of a disappointing season. He could be washed, but the only competition he has is Woody Marks. Woody Marks could take some receiving work from him. He's a receiving back, but Joe Mixon should still be getting a lot of good red zone touches for that Texans high-powered offense. Kenneth Walker III is number 44. Walker had a bit of a disappointing year as well. He is only 24 years old. It feels like he's a lot older. The injury concerns are there, which is why I don't have him higher. He could go ahead of Mixon. The Seahawks, the Seahawks offense, what's it going to look like with Sam Darnold? More unknowns. 45 is Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy, the upside there, he had a lot of touchdowns in that Chiefs offense. He had a lot of targets in that Chiefs offense. And honestly, I feel like he only kind of scratched the surface of his potential. The bad news is that Rashee Rice is back. So Rashee Rice is going to eat into a lot of that work that Xavier Worthy was getting. I still think he's going to be highly involved. Just how good is he going to be in fantasy? So at number 45, it's kind of a boom or bust, in my opinion. 46, we have Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, he's kind of been in this range his whole career. And the bad news is Justin Fields. Fields ain't exactly going to be airing it out downfield to Mr. Wilson. So it's a bit concerning here, but he is the wide receiver 1 on his team. 47, we have the tight end 3, George Kittle. If you get George Kittle right here, you get a steal. The 49ers wide receiver room is a bit hazy on the outlook. They get rid of Debo. Ricky Pearsall's there, but is he overvalued? Maybe. You got Ayuk coming back from the knee injury, and he wasn't even good before the knee injury. So Kittle's going to have a big target here. He just had a big contract extension. Same with Purdy. I think Kittle's going to feast this season. I do have DK Metcalf at number 48. At number 48, it feels good because it's the wide receiver 1 on Pittsburgh. And if Pittsburgh doesn't bring in a quarterback, he could go probably down in the rankings. But if Pittsburgh brings in a quarterback, and it says they're interested in Kirk Cousins or obviously Aaron Rodgers, if Kirk Cousins comes in here, DK Metcalf could be a league winner in fantasy. 49, we have Amarion Hampton. And then number 50, we have Ted McMillan. Ted McMillan has a very good prospect profile. And Hampton, I mean, Jim Harbaugh, he loves those running backs. So that is where we are at for the Fantasy Football Top 50. First video on the channel, you can say we're here. Who's outside the top 50? Let me know how the rankings work. And go check out the draft guide. I'll have that posted in the Discord. Smash the like and subscribe button. Of course, God bless this channel. And God bless every single one of y'all. Peace.